code can't be merged until the review associated with that code is considered complete. So we're talking today about customizing the completion condition in Reviewable. So how do we do that? Well, you do it on a per repository basis. So we go to the repositories menu, and we're going to look at the demo option. We'll click in there. We want PR number 1. That's the actual demo PR. So you can look at the review state for each PR of each repository you have connected to Reviewable. And you can use that as data to practice or to test out different scripts. So basically, Reviewable has a script that it runs to determine whether your code review is complete. And the summary here is that if it has unresolved discussions and it has unreviewed files, then it's not complete. And that completed is reported here in this return object. And you can see the actual data in the return object here. And the awesome thing is this is evaluated for you upon edit. So imagine that I just changed this completed to true. Now this becomes true, and if I were to apply this, then you could always just merge this code for any PR, not just this one. In the repository, you could merge the code. So what you see is JavaScript. This is a script written in JavaScript, actually augmented by Lodash3. And that JavaScript operates on a state. That state here is called review. So that review object has a bunch of sub-objects. So one of the important ones is pull request. And I've copied all this over here to VS Code. Let me make that a little bigger for you. And let's take a look at some of the possibilities here. By looking at what's actually in the data. So, of course, there's this summary object that was used to check for unresolved discussions, unreviewed files. But let's say you want to think about things in a little more detail. For example, you want to require that the review is approved by certain people. Well, here's a bunch of GitHub usernames, and there's comments associated with those usernames, and here they've just commented, but if they'd approved, then it would say approved. So you could require that approvals has, for example, approvals.pkaminsky equals approved. And then Pyotr Kaminsky would have to approve that code for it to be merged. You can get a little trickier too, right? So let's show you the file paths. Control path. Okay, so you can see that we have here astropy coordinates angle utilities.py, and that is actually being modified. So one thing you could do is look under files and say if this path exists and if it's being modified, then I require Pyotr and say somebody else's approvals, or at least one of the two, or you know, the possibilities are real and manifold, and I'm going to let you get creative. But the point is, you have detailed data about your pull request. You have real-time evaluation of a script that uses the full Turing-complete power of JavaScript to operate on that data. And you can determine whatever completion condition you want. All that really matters is what the value is of the completed field. And description and short description pending reviewers are for convenience. You should add information on them in there, but in the end, whether or not the review can be merged depends on only the completed value. And so have fun, go forth, and customize your code review completion conditions.